All right. We are live for the Smalltown Poets virtual Christmas party. And there's a lot of Christmas festivities in these images. I mean, Michael, I hope you're going to be reading it was the night before Christmas before this is all over. It just feels so festive. But
yes,
if you were
fireplace going and everything. We've got a little chat, a little heart-to-heart chat, Christmas chat.
That's right.
I've got this, Kev.
Oh, that's
it's
good.
Better than a sweater.
I know you're in Florida, so it doesn't get too Christmassy down there. And Byron will be joining us in just a second. He's having some technical issues, so we're running a little bit late. But while we wait, say hello in the comments. Let us know where you're watching from. If you've got a question about, whoa, what was that?
That was my Christmas sign.
Oh, if you've got a question or comment or want to see Miguel dance around the room in his amazing sweater, just let us know. And yeah, so we're gonna talk Christmas.
Hey, we want people to stay on this, not leave.
Yeah. And it's hard to see. I've got a very appropriate Christmas.
It's got the child.
It's all about the child at Christmas.
Right. Maybe
a different child.
And Joel's here, Mike's here. We've got Bonnie and Tiffany and Gabrielle and all sorts of Mike. A lot of
all sorts of Mike.
All sorts of fans from all over. People that we get to chat with on Facebook a lot.
Okay. Hi, everybody.
Yeah. And Tiffany and Gabrielle and all sorts. Is one of you watching it as well? Because I'm getting a feedback loop.
No, never.
Danny, you don't have. Danny, you don't have to watch it. You're in it.
I'm in it.
You're in it.
How can you see comments, Kev?
There's a tab. You can see them too. Look at your screen.
But
there's a tab. You just got to click on it.
There is a trick too, Danny, that the pros use. It's called turning down the volume.
You know what?
and Byron is now with us.
There he is.
There he is.
Byron made it.
Hey, B.
We're all here. So we don't, you don't have a big agenda at a party. The point of a party is to have fun. So, but right. I've got some questions. We've been on several Christmas tours, and it was very sad that we didn't play any Christmas shows this year.
Yeah.
You realize it was the first time since 2013. Right. That's the only year since we started doing Christmas shows that we skipped, other than this year.
Why did we skip 2013? I was trying to remember. Why did we skip?
It just didn't feel right.
I guess there was something going on. There's some reason we didn't do a tour that year.
I think we were all very busy that year.
What year was that?
2013.
2013. So I've got some questions that for those watching that you can weigh in on the chat. The question is, what's your favorite Christmas song? Or what's your favorite Christmas song that we've recorded? Or what Christmas song do you wish we would record? So if you have answers to that, feel free to put it in the comments. But for you guys, since we didn't do a Christmas tour this year, I wanted to know, what's your favorite Christmas tour memory? I have some visual aids for mine. I know I didn't prep you guys, so go ahead.
Oh yeah, for me it was we were playing in Chicago about 10 years ago, and Leonard Ahlstrom, he's played with some different groups. I won't try to name them, but he's a great banjo player, and not only him playing banjo with us that night, but there's videos somewhere on YouTube of us rehearsing backstage, and that was just a really fun event. It was a great stage. It was a great backdrop. It looked great visually.
You mean this?
How'd you do that so fast? Yeah,
he's on it.
There it is, right there.
Yeah, and so that was a great tour stop, and Leonard Ahlstrom he's a really good banjo player. And he co-wrote Christmas Shoes, so we mocked him all day long for that.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, that was a good one. That was definitely a highlight of that tour. Definitely a lot of there were so many memorable moments. We got to play with Shell. They were on the bill for that weekend. It was a whole weekend long thing we did at that church. And they've blown up quite a bit. And Echoing Angels played.
Yep. Yes.
And we had a nice giant tour bus that we lived in.
Nice. That was nice.
That was the time that we watched Tebow Time backstage.
That's right.
It's quite a memorable year.
And it was snowing outside. It was just beautiful.
Yeah, it was like the perfect Christmas.
Right.
I remember we went out to eat somewhere in Chicago, right? And a pizzeria.
Yes,
and
I didn't get a picture of that, but yes.
I had an allergy attack. I couldn't stop sneezing. Can you imagine if that would happen now?
Oh yeah.
An angry mob would beat us up.
Something big happened that day. The keyboard player from Echoing Angels announced that he had found the world's best cup of coffee because it said it on the sign. He relived that moment from a movie
from Elf.
Yeah. And that's on YouTube as well.
Yeah, we planted the, like, Danny, I remember you went in and stood in the back of the restaurant, and I followed him in with the camera, and everyone thought it was hilarious in the restaurant. The restaurant was packed. Yes, that was a good one. All right. Any other Christmas tour memories? I've got a couple. Go ahead.
I was thinking about a particular gig where we were driving from like Portland to Bend, Oregon. And we were driving through the mountains and it was snowing, and the Northwest is very different from the Southeast. And so we were some of us like me were in awe. It was just a beautiful drive. It was really coming down. We stopped and we took a picture, all of us together in the snow, maybe in front of a Christmas tree. That's a nice memory. It's not that interesting a story, but it warms my heart to think about.
Oh, yeah, I think that somebody thought that it was the North Pole because there was a candy cane marker. I think that they could gauge how high the snow was on the side of the road.
There was some.
Maybe tried to lick it because they thought it was a candy cane at the North Pole.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we had stopped to put chains on the vehicle because we had to put chains on the truck to go over Mount Hood.
So it was Kevin's family's vehicle, and so we were driving. He said. It was getting snowy. We needed some change. Kevin said, I think we got some back there. So we get out and I look at him and he looked at me. And I'm like, well, here they are. What do you do with them? Like, how many times have you been up this road? So at that time, the snow plow was coming up. So we were like, get in the car. Just get in behind him. We'll be fine.
I like to roll the dice because is it worth putting on the chains or just worth risking sliding off the road? I don't know.
You're wasting time on the mountain if you're not on your snowboard if you're putting chains on.
I have that photo. I'm trying to find it really fast so I could show of us going over the mountain pass. But
that's the one too where I took a picture of me sticking my tongue on a frozen pole.
That's what I was talking about. Yeah.
For some reason I don't have that picture, but I do have the picture of us.
Yep.
The vehicle. It's uploading. It'll take a second.
Nan Van is on, and she's probably referring to that night we played in Indiana. Oh, well, that's a different story.
There's the vehicle we were talking about.
Right.
Yes.
So you remember when Nan Van took us on that tour through the old haunted, we thought it was haunted school building?
I've got a picture of the piano that you found in there. And they took us to was it Steak Burger?
Steak and Shake? Yeah.
Steak, one of those. Yeah, one of those.
That old school is creepy. I'm telling you that.
All right. Here is one of my favorite Christmas memories. And I think it might have been one of Byron's because he was really excited for us to see this.
Oh,
and
yes.
Christmas tour
2014.
2014. We had some shows in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Byron had a hookup, and this picked us up from the airport, and we had our personal chauffeur in this the entire time. We were there like 3 days. Here's what it looked like inside. It was nice. It was very nice.
That is so Smalltown Poets right there.
Yeah.
That's how we travel. In fact, that picture, you can't tell, but it was taken in the parking lot of In-N-Out Burger because we had him take us to In-N-Out Burger.
Right? Yeah. And look how young Noah looked. He was young.
Look at little baby Noah.
Probably about 16. Right there. Yeah.
Yes, that was one of that was a Christmas tour to remember. All right.
Nan says that we dragged her along on the haunted school tour.
Yeah.
That was awesome. And we got a couple questions. I've got a few more tour memory pictures, but we got some questions. Let's see. Well, we've got Lee from Canada, or from Lisa, says Merry Christmas. We've got, let's see here. Scott said he listened to a bunch of our music while riding the Harley today. Ooh, that sounds fun.
Nice.
You must be someplace warm.
Poets and Harley.
That's nothing goes better with a Harley than Smalltown Poets. Smalltown Poets Christmas music. That's what all those Harley guys are really listening to.
Yes.
You'd have to be listening to it pretty loud, wouldn't you? Over a Harley. That's acceptable Poets volume.
Yeah, that must have been the second Christmas album. Kyle, his favorite is "Oh Holy Night," and he'd love to hear us do a version of that. That's my favorite Christmas song, yeah. And we have yet to do it.
That's next. We'll do that for next Christmas. How about that?
Perfect. Let's get on.
Seriously.
I know. I'm serious too.
I'm already on it. Dude, I'm already on it. I'll be working on it tomorrow.
Okay, perfect. Let's see. Here we go. Gabrielle says, my fave is Have Yourself a Little Merry Christmas, and obsessed with our Watzel song and Carol of the Bells. We should record an
the Home Alone music.
Home Alone.
What is that? Is it from the movie?
Yeah.
I don't know that one.
I think that's McCloskey Culkin is in that. You see what I did? I mixed the name of the star of the movie with the person that suggested it. See, we could start a new band name.
It's a mashup right there.
All right. I mentioned my favorite Christmas song, "Oh Holy Night." Others, meaning
I think mine is "Oh Holy Night" too, but I got so many that I grew up with in Puerto Rico that were all Spanish that I've been listening to a lot lately, going back.
Like
yes. They're not carols. Puerto Rican Christmas music, it's not so much carols, it's songs about roasting a pig, strong spirits, and where's the next party. That's what Puerto Rican
sounds like an amazing Christmas.
That sounds like Miguel to me.
Yeah. Roasting a pig, having some drinks, and moving on to the next party.
In the green room, Miguel was always the one roasting the pig in the corner while we were having
Miguel,
so
we
is
actually
there a song where you do all of those things in the same song? You roast a pig, have strong drinks, and look for the next party.
They're all about anything like that. One of them is about if you don't give me something to drink, I'll cry. Another one is about here's how you roast a pig. Another one is stop dancing with what my women dance with your own. Those are famous, classic Puerto Rican Christmas songs.
What are their names? Say, we actually have a lot of listeners in Latin America. To say it in Spanish. What are not the titles? You don't have to sing it. Although I'd really enjoy it. No, just what's the title?
That's the title.
What's the title?
One of them is Si no me dan de beber lloro. Si no me dan de beber lloro. If you don't give me anything to drink, I'll cry. huge song.
Yeah, that would do well in the States.
Perfect. Anyone else have some favorites? I don't know if you can top that.
That's hard to top.
What's the question? I got distracted by something.
Myron's drinking eggnog right out of the carton.
It's organic. I'm totally healthy.
Kevin, is this our favorite Christmas song?
Yes, your favorite Christmas song.
Of all, period?
Yeah.
Now look. Angel, Vanessa, Lara. They wrote, that's so true. That's the same for Mexicans, LOL. So it's all of us Hispanics.
Right.
Where, let's see. I didn't see that one. Where?
Angel and Vanessa, Lara.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's true.
I'm not seeing that. Well, maybe it's my comments are loading slow, but yeah, awesome. Maybe we need to do that. Break into a whole new market. We have when we do these live streams, we usually have his name escapes me, but he's from Bolivia and he comments all the time. And we actually have lots of fans in Brazil, but we'll have to learn some Portuguese as well.
Is it Philip Camara, something like that? Camara?
No,
I'm pretty sure that's a Braves player.
We've got
that's Camargo.
Oh, Camargo.
We've got someone from Ireland. I don't know how you pronounce Irish names. There's like extra consonants in it.
You're a racist.
Bono. Bono has 2 consonants.
Bono.
I mean, two syllables. Bono.
And 2 consonants. You were right.
No, I actually know someone in Ireland whose name is Grania. That's how you pronounce it, but that is not what you would think looking at the letters. So I know I think that might be their last name.
You may be right. I think my favorite Christmas song is "Hark the Herald Angels Sing." I love the words of that song. I think each verse is on point. So that's one that's been a long time favorite. But we had a vinyl, so we listened to all our music on a turntable when I was a kid. I'm the youngest of 4 kids, and so I just listened to whatever my older siblings put on the turntable all during the Christmas holiday season. And we had some of those, collection records where it's whoever singing whatever famous songs, but there were some other just kids songs or whatever. And I love that album, and I wish that we still had it. I wish that I had known where to find it on CD or something like that, just for nostalgia's sake. But it had some just silly songs on it, and then some other things like Up on the Housetop, those kind of fun little Christmas songs.
I think you guys know what my favorite Christmas song is, because every year it's kind of become a tradition that whether we're in a van or a bus or a car, that I always play Kenny and Dolly, "Christmas to Remember."
You do. You do make us listen to that.
You make it a Christmas to remember.
All right, we've got a question from Gabrielle. You guys have traveled and toured so much. Is there anything different you do to prepare for a Christmas show or tour than a normal show or tour?
Practice.
No. There's some rehearsal involved, yes.
Well, we actually do put the shows together quite different than we would a regular tour.
Yeah, there's a lot more preparation that goes into it, and Christmas arrangements. I mean, some of these, we're constantly writing new Christmas stuff, and we're constantly mixing up the carols that we do from the different albums we've done. So some of the songs we've been playing for 20 or more years together, we're on autopilot. But when you get back in there each Christmas season and have to work back through some of these Christmas carols that change meter, they change tempo, they change keys, and they're not your conventional 3 or 4 chord progressions. It's just harder to practice Christmas music than our other stuff, I think.
Well, plus, one that would take me a minute to practice is "Who You Are," and I forget that "Who You Are" is a Christmas song, and I don't think we've done it in a while. But Scott here mentions in the comments, "Glory, glory, angels sing," a little bit of "Who You Are."
Yep.
That's a great one. I'm going to claim that one. That one would be my favorite one, especially since now I just remembered it's Christmas song.
Byron, I know what your favorite Christmas song is.
John Denver and the Muppets.
Yes.
You're supposed to let me say it. So
okay.
And prove that I knew it. Now that people just think that I said it. You said it.
I was so excited. My kids can't stand it, but every year I'm listening to it all the way through, probably twice before the it's over. And also, by the way, I like John Mark McMillan has a song called Baby King, Baby Boy. Anyway, I can't remember the title of it right now, but I love that song. That's a good one. You should look into that one.
Growing up, it didn't feel like Christmas unless the Carpenters' Christmas was playing. That's a classic. Still a great album. Going back to Gabrielle's question, I'd say that a lot of times when we're doing Christmas shows, we are sometimes being plugged into someone else's Christmas event or Christmas concert or show or whatever they're doing for their church or their community. We've done it for a lot for churches, but Seems like we've done a few tours where the parade was going like right outside and everyone was at the parade.
I remember that. I don't know if it's the one you're thinking about, but I don't remember the name of the town. But
It was outside
I literally felt like we were in a Hallmark movie.
Yeah.
And they even asked us to come up on the stage in the town center to sing a song a cappella. We did that. I literally felt like we were in the middle of a Hallmark movie. And yes, I have seen a Hallmark movie or two.
Yes.
I was going to say about our Christmas shows, they definitely involved a lot more crowd participation.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna pull up. I've got that Hallmark moment right here.
What city was that? It was somewhere in Texas.
It was outside of Dallas. It was outside of Fort Worth. It was the one year Byron wasn't able to make it, and Matt Goldman played for us. But look at little Noah, so young.
Yeah, that was only 2014.
This was 2015.
You guys were in Parks and Rec.
Yeah.
Yeah. It started with a B. Wherever we were, it started with the B, the name of the town.
Yeah.
I was seriously looking around for the cameras. I really felt like we were on the set of a Hallmark movie.
It was nice. It was nice. Going back to Christmas tour memories. I've got a couple that we hadn't mentioned. This wasn't at one of our shows, but it had to be a highlight, as it was a true Portlandia moment when Byron was getting his picture taken and the biker went by and hit him on the head right as the camera was snapping the picture.
Hard too. I mean, enough that I was like, "What in the world just happened?" And I went through a moment of anger, then a moment of grief.
So in that picture, he's about to hit you.
Yeah, he's about to hit Byron on the head.
The timing of that is unbelievable.
True story. And yeah, you don't mess with the bikers here in Portland. They will come after you.
Who owned that hat? I want that hat. Where was that? I think I borrowed that from you, Kevin.
That was an old a CD Baby hat. I don't know if I still have any.
Oh.
It's a good one. But yeah. I've got another one that was a great. This was 2014, when the Christmas tree farm was outside of Michael's church.
That's right.
And we didn't pick out a tree because we were about to leave to go play shows, but there's some video of us singing around the Christmas tree. So
it's a Christmas tree, and we're singing. You know what, Kevin? When we played at your church, that was a really good memory for me. I really enjoyed that, getting to be a part of the community that you're part of, and being a part of that church service, as well as playing some songs.
And that one was very special. In addition to that, it was special because it was one of our first shows again, playing together again in quite a few years, if I remember.
I think you guys are talking about two different shows.
Right.
The one, Michael, the one you're talking about wasn't actually a Christmas show. That was in October, if I'm thinking.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
There you go.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
But didn't we play a Christmas show in Vancouver, Washington one year?
We did. And my daughter fell asleep on the front row. So, and then my youngest actually joined us on stage for "We Wish You a Merry Christmas," and I actually have a picture of that.
And Kevin, somebody played with us that night, and I want to say her name was Hannah, and she had a song I loved, but I could never remember the name of that song. And it's one of those, right? If you could find her last name, and I could look up what that song is.
Hannah Glover.
She actually has a new album out now. Yeah, here's a picture of that show. We asked all the kids in the audience to come up on stage and sing "We Wish You a Merry Christmas," and that's little Beatrice.
Nice.
Wow. She's almost 11 now.
That reminds me of this was a Christmas show? Maybe it wasn't. I'm accessing a part of my brain that isn't Christmas shows, but maybe it was. where Miguel, you were having to like discipline
Parent from stage.
yeah, parent from the stage.
That was a Christmas show. I think that was it in Dudley?
Yes.
Yes. Yes. I had to lay down the law from stage to our kids.
Well, it was just, it was just a look. He just gave that look.
I just pointed, you sit over there. You over there.
Oh, yes.
If I remember correctly, you had a rare dropout during a song, a missed note or something, and because that never happens, I heard something different. I look up at you thinking his bass is falling off, or maybe a string has broken, and instead you're appearing in the front row. Then you jump back in.
I jumped back. I think it was a Christmas show, but I think it was in the middle of Prophet, Priest, and King. Or right as soon as I'm done pointing and doing what I got to do, I jump back to the bass line.
Hey, I see Brandon Thompson.
That reminded me that at that the Christmas tour we did in the Northwest here, I just showed that picture with that we did here in the Vancouver, Portland area. But we played up in Seattle, and if you recall, sparsely attended show, but the promoter had put lit candles all over the front of the stage, and there was a bunch of young toddlers playing around with the candles and actually knocked one of them over right in the middle of our it was right in front of me too. I was so stressed out.
We were so ahead of our time. It was years later when Seattle was burning everything down. We were we were about to have that happen in the church.
Yeah, so that was a gig where they combined the end of year Christian school event with us coming through and doing a tour date. And the result was we knew the people from the school would be there. We didn't realize that they would all be under 4 years of age.
we were thinking high school.
Right. That was a bizarre one.
Man. All right.
We've done a few of those before in our lifetime. We call them the babysitting gigs.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, I've been spit on before. We were playing once, and I'm playing, and something hits me in the face. I'm like, what was that? and this was a decent sized crowd, but there's like all these kids like touching my pedals, and I look down, and one's just looking right up at me, just spitting at me, and I was just like, this has gone far enough.
So Kev, I see
Jay Butler's got. What's that?
I see that Gloria Green said hello, and I also see that Brandon.
Hi, Gloria.
Brandon is in here with us.
Brandon Thompson.
A bunch of other folks.
Jay Butler has a question. I have is it harder to make an album now than it was when Prophet, Priest, and King was out? Actually, we just tell Noah to make the albums. That's as easy as it gets. We've actually gotten in a groove. Actually, in 2020, we've gotten in a groove with recording remotely. Our latest Christmas single, "I Heard the Bells on Christmas Day," actually came together within. It was almost a few days because we all have the ability to record remotely, pretty much, and so we can record files at home if we need to, the audio files, and send them to whoever's engineering and mixing it. We prefer to be together if we can, but it's kind of nice to be able to have both options. That way the pressure isn't on with renting a studio when you haven't figured out your guitar parts yet.
How great is that song, by the way? That I had never really paid attention to the content of that song until we started talking about it. And I think that's an amazing song. And now when I hear it, it actually gets you.
Yeah.
To realize what that guy was going through to pen the words like that, and then to turn it in the course of just a few seconds. Sometimes I'll let my downside of something go on way longer. He's like, okay, just flip it over. Here's the last verse. It's going to be all right.
I was not 100% on board with the song. Like, I was fine with us doing it, but the more and more I got into the words, singing it, the more and more, Byron, like you, that I really became a fan of it. And it's a little bit challenging. We don't use words like belfry and forlorn and hearthstone a whole lot.
Maybe not there in the South. Up here in the elite Northwest, we use those words all the time.
But yeah, if you sit with those words and let them affect you like poetry, like the poetry they are. It was a Longfellow poem. they got put to music. And really, the meter, the melody doesn't always do the words justice, because it doesn't put the emphasis in the right place sometimes. But just those words as poetry are fantastic.
Danny,
Yeah,
why don't you tell the story of behind the whole thing? Because we emailed it out and posted on Facebook, but a lot of people probably didn't see it because it's a really fascinating story.
right.
Because, yeah, tell it.
Well, so Longfellow wrote the lyrics in the middle of some real pain, right in the midst of the Civil War. He had already lost his wife in a fire a couple of years prior, and then he finds out that his son has been wounded in battle, and he was distraught, and he was, you know, like writers do, he was working that out with pen and paper, and he heard the bells tolling in the town, you know, in the nearest church. As he was writing about his despair and his emotion and the pain, he heard those bells, and they represented hope to him, really. And then Byron's right, just on a dime, the whole tenor of that piece just changes. But one thing that I love about this arrangement is that we included some lyrics that you never hear. I don't know if I've ever heard them until we came up with this arrangement recently and found these lyrics online. We've been calling it the Civil War verse, because like verse 3 is imagery from the war. He talks about the cannons firing and the war raging on, and in the midst of that turmoil, you know, he's talking about hope for, you know, for the end of the war, for the resolution of you know, this conflict, but, you know, all that was going on. And it makes me think of today. I don't know that our nation has ever been as divided as it is now, unless you go back 140 years to the Civil War, 150 years, whatever it is. So there are a lot of parallels there. And so I think this song is perfect for this time.
Which is a lot like what you find, not you know, you're going to bring out the preacher in me now, but I'm going to start preaching. But it's a lot like the songs. There's songs that are just like that. They're very desperate. Everything's horrible. Even Psalm 22, which Jesus quotes from the cross, "Why have you forsaken me?" And towards the end, it turns into hope.
Yeah.
You know, looking into God's promises, and they end very positively, even though 3/4 of it that's already been very, you know, hopeless. So it's pretty cool.
We have a question from Scott. He wants to know, do you guys live close to one another? If not, where are you living now?
Well, Miguel and I just played disc golf together. We live relatively close.
Yeah.
But these are different Christmas trees. He's in a different house than I am.
Yes.
But yeah, Miguel and I attend the same church. We live about.
Yeah.
Wait, that's the wrong way.
Oh,
sorry.
yeah. It's reversed. I live in the Northwest in Camas, Washington. It's actually I grew up in San Diego, which was the big city in suburbia, but now I live in a small town, and I love the small town lifestyle. So you guys finally won me over.
It is a great small town. You won the life lottery there.
Yeah, you did.
Camas is great.
Yep, I live right outside of St. Augustine, Florida.
And I am slightly north of Charlotte, North Carolina.
Yeah. So we still consider Atlanta sort of the home base of the band, and we end up recording there a lot, or somewhere around the area, or in Broxton, Georgia. You never know where we might show up. But yeah, so we tend to see that as the hub still. But modern technology has made it easy to live all over the place and still record.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which kind of gets back to the other question. It's the only difficulty in making albums, you know, like a whole album's worth of material these days, is us all getting in the same place at the same time to write and work out arrangements together.
Yeah.
Because we were on the road touring so much in the past, you know, we were around each other a lot. So that was a little bit easier to get us all together. But other than that, the actual tracking process, it's probably easier to make records now in the way that we can make them than it was when we first started.
Yeah, it feels like there's less pressure. I mean, there's no way. I think of two songs in particular that we did recently. Try, and I Heard the Bells on Christmas Day. I spent probably about 4 or 5 hours tracking stuff for I Heard the Bells, and I hated all of it and scrapped it all. And then I did a few more and sent on over to Noah, who was engineering it, and he was like, it still needs a few more things. And so then inspiration struck. I dug deep, and that's when I came up with the guitar solos you hear and those clean tones. It really all came together. But when you're in a recording studio, a lot of times you don't have that space to just sit there and hear things recorded with everything else, because it costs money to sit there and have everyone staring at you. Plus, everyone's staring at you. Try was another one. In fact, I sent files to Danny and Noah, and I could tell they hated them. And so I threw all those away.
We didn't hate them.
Yes, you did. Don't lie.
No, we loved them. We just realized they sucked.
They loved them for a different song.
A different song that wasn't a Smalltown Poets song.
No, you were just dialing it in, man. That happens with all of us.
It's all great stuff, Kevin. We just got to find a song to plug that
we just
stuff
gotta
in.
find. It sounds like you were playing a different song than we were.
Hey, I see a question on here from Jay Butler. He says,
Oh, sorry.
So many bands have come and go. What is your strength? Stinking together? And that reminds me of a story.
we do sometimes.
Truer words are seldom spoken. We
can't share that story, but it reminds me of a story from was it Planet Hollywood or in Nashville?
I believe that's right.
Oh, that ain't your perfume, baby.
No. Oh, no. That was San Antonio Taco Company. Yeah. When
not a Christmas story, so moving on.
We won't say that online, but if you want to, if we're ever hanging out, you can ask us about the Satco story. It involves a member of DC Talk as well, and some innocent bystanders, and Miguel.
but the actual question is what keeps us together, and music, writing music and recording music and playing music together is definitely one thing, but it's also the fact that we look for excuses to hang out and do things like this. We enjoy each other's company. We've got a long history together, and we value that. And I think that at least for us, we get to continue to do this, even though it's not our day-to-day livelihood. It's part of who we are, part of how we're wired, and it's in us to do it. And so we just feel very blessed to be able to continue to do it together and give us more excuses to spend time together.
And Michael, for me, there's two things there. One is what it feels like to play music together when you're on stage and you play the song and you hit the last note and you think, and regardless if anybody else liked it or thought it was awful or whatever, if you thought it was, so many times, all five of us on the same page are like, man, that really felt good. And it wasn't necessarily anything different than like the recorded version, but playing music together, 5 people doing different things that make one thing is super special. And like you said, on top of that, there aren't 4 other people in this world, guys, I didn't mean to exclude my wife in that, but these are people I trust with everything in my life. And these are people that I can call about anything in my life. And yeah, like Michael said, it's just an excuse sometimes.
Yeah. When Byron, you mentioned how it just feels different, like playing on stage. I think the 5 of us, it's weird because collectively we've all played with hundreds of other musicians, whether at churches or other bands or other projects. And it's weird because it just feels right. Like even musically, it just feels like I know where I fit in with everything, and the feel is good. The songs are good. I don't know. It's weird because after, we had a long hiatus, and I'd been in 2 other projects where I spent a lot of time playing with various people. I'm like, what is it about Smalltown Poets that it just feels right when we're all playing music together? Because I've been in other bands where we made good stuff, but it didn't have that same feeling. I don't know. It's hard to explain. I think about it a lot.
I'd like to say hi to Amy watching. Merry Christmas, Amy, who I know from North Carolina. But also, I want to say one more thing about what Kevin just said, if I could remember what it was.
I already forgot.
What I was about to say. I was excited to see my friend Amy on there, and I forgot what it was I was going to say.
Well, while you're thinking about that, I did get to play some Christmas music recently, and two things about what each of you said. Live music, I take it for granted sometimes. I don't go to a lot of shows. I don't know why. I enjoy it. But I got invited to play some songs, some Christmas songs. And Noah, who you guys keep hearing us talk about, Noah's Danny's oldest son. And he's been playing with Smalltown Poets for several years now. And he's been producing the last several things that we've done. So he's become very much a part of what we're doing. And so Noah came up and played some of his original songs as well. It was great. And I really enjoyed watching Noah, and Becca was a person that we just met that night, and she was on the bill as well. Just seeing Noah and Becca play live, it was really, really good. It was a really good experience just to be, in a space where live music is happening. And then the other thing about that was I didn't enjoy playing the songs by myself very much. Like, I enjoyed it, but when Noah joined me for the last three, it felt a little bit more like it should. But when the five of us are playing together, it just does something good for my soul.
Yep.
Yeah, it was, I was watching that live stream. I didn't see the other two that played with you. I just saw the last one, and it really hurts not playing in the First Light this year with you guys. That I saw you guys playing that. I was singing along. And I'm like, man, I love playing that song. It's such a good arrangement, and that's one of those songs that I feel like as a band, it doesn't matter if there's 1,000 people watching or 5 or 4 people watching that don't even care that we're playing. Whatever the scenario, it feels like, man, that song, we just go for it, and it's a good time.
I remember what I was going to say.
Go ahead.
I was going to say that back to how I feel about you guys and what makes the band, what makes us stay together. I love listening to our music, and it was proven when the Spotify thing comes out, and you're like, your number one band is Smalltown Poets. I'm like, okay, it sounds conceited, but I don't listen to our music necessarily for entertainment. Sometimes I listen to it subconsciously, just because when I do, it feels like we're together. So, except for this weird fact, and that is 2 albums I didn't play on in our catalog, our Third Verse and It's Later Than It's Ever Been. It's Later Than It's Ever Been is probably my favorite Smalltown Poets album. I wasn't on it. There's probably something that ties that process together. But on Third Verse, Michael, you sang the other night on the show by yourself, No Kinder Savior. And I was watching it on the Facebook Live in my living room by myself, and watching you sing there by yourself. And that song connects me, not only to you, but to the truth of that song. And I was in tears in my living room, realizing in that moment, just watching my phone, who would have thought when we were kids that you could do that one day? But the idea that Jesus is all we need, that he's already provided, the Lord has provided what we need. Even though we complain and sometimes we have struggle, the answer is there. So I felt that night, and I think that was my thought that ties that together. That's also a plug for Third Verse and It's Later Than It's Ever Been.
Great song. I love that song. Speaking of Noah, I was going to say he checked in here in the comments, and so did Mitzi Fountain, who said that her husband wants to know if we've ever helped any stray animals while we were on the road. Obviously, our former road manager, Mike. That's not even that great a story unless you were there, but him trying to rescue a lost dog that wasn't lost.
Which I got a funny story, a recent funny story. Again, you mentioned Mike Fountain, the Fountains. Mike Fountain, our road manager from back in the day. Well, anyways, the other day, I went to get coffee with a friend at a place here called Boulder Creek Coffee. And as I'm, about to order, one of the baristas, this girl goes, hey, you play bass, don't you? And I'm like, oh, it must be from church because people see me playing worship at church all the time. I'm like, yeah, you probably see me playing at Grace, right? At Grace Community Church. And she goes, no, you play with Smalltown Poets, don't you? And I'm like, now I'm thinking, oh, wow, we're still known, I can't even get it. I can't get a Coke anywhere. I can't even go get coffee now without people recognizing me. Wow, yeah. And I'm like, yeah, play with Smalltown Poets. I find it very surprising when people still like know us and recognize. She goes, oh no, I'm Mike Fountain's daughter, Rebecca. I'm like, oh, but it was awesome. She made me an awesome cup of Joe. And I'm like, well, give your parents a hug and all that for me. It was very cool.
Mandy from Montana wants to know, are you guys friends with the guys from Pray for Rain? We've met Joel before, but I think they stopped playing before our debut was out, didn't they?
They stopped touring right about the time that our first record came out, and we did do a show with Eager, which was
his brother's band. Yeah, that was an infamous show.
Player.
That was
the bass player's band.
What was it?
The bass player from PFR was he fronted Eager.
Oh, Eager. What was the one that wasn't it his brother had a band as well?
Yeah, and I don't remember the name of the band. Somebody might.
Because we did a show with his brother's band in Memphis. That, speaking of Mike Fountain, there was another incident that happened at that show that Mike will probably recall, but we will not discuss. It was one of those crazy venues, and we also had, it was a weird event on Beale Street where they put a bunch of Christian bands and thought, hey, we'll put a bunch of Christian bands with all these other bands and all these youth groups will come out, and it was an interesting mix that happened that night. But we still did our thing, and we brought the room. You could hear a pin drop when we played Lord, I Want to Be a Christian, if you remember that one.
Yeah, that was great. I think we played right before Saliva.
Yes, Saliva, who became a massive chart-topping rock band on the radio everywhere.
Yeah.
One of the guys in that band, maybe the drummer. It may have been the drummer. When we came off the stage, he's like, and he even called out the song by name. He's like, yeah, that song you played there is only you. He's like, great song. Like, oh,
Nancy answered the question. The band was Believable Picnic.
That's it. Yes.
Jade Hansen. That was it. Yep. Jay Butler got that right as well. All right. Well, you guys were a few more questions, then we'll probably, it might be time to wrap up the party. I don't know. We could go all night if people want to hang out. Byron started talking about some of listening to our own music. What's your favorite Christmas song that we've recorded, or a story behind one of the songs that we did that you like so much?
Well, I'm going to go with probably not my actual favorite.
Doesn't have to be your favorite song, but like one that we've recorded that you really like.
I really like our arrangement of the First Noel, and I sort of feel like I'm the only one of the band that does. I just think it's really good, and it sounds different and fresh, and unlike any other arrangement of that song, I love listening to it. I never get tired of listening to it.
I thought you guys didn't like it because we've never played it live.
I love it. Let's do it next year.
Next year, deal. Because I love the guitar parts I played on there, and I'm like, man, we never played it live.
It's beautiful. I would say for me, one that jumps out is because I saw Eric Sterniolo commenting on here, and he was just a kid when he came in and sang. What was it?
The highest notes I've ever heard a human being sing.
Right. So on our first Christmas record, I think it's just called On Christmas Day, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes. But it's Ave Maria in Prince.
Right. We mash up Ave Maria. And so we had one of the kids from the Atlanta Boy Choir come in and sing, and now he's an adult because this was 10 years ago. But it sounds like a boy choir just because we had him sing a bunch of parts and stack them all together. And that was an awesome studio experience. It really was. He did great.
Fun fact, He was at our Christmas show with the choir, which was also the show that is our new live album. Although we did not include any Christmas tracks because we didn't want it to be a Christmas album. But he was there, and his voice dropped. He's not singing that high.
Hey, there's two that we haven't played live that I don't know that they would translate live as much, but Good King Wenceslas. I would have never known that story had we not recorded that song, and it forced me to figure out what we were saying.
And the fact, my favorite one too.
It's the way you guys, you know, how each voice represents a different person in the story. I thought that was awesome. And then Patapan on the same album is a little bit of a off time thing, a little bit of extra measures thrown in here and there. But those are songs. And then I could just say all of them, but let me just say one more. Christmas Lullaby. The way that album ends, usually at Christmas time, you let an album play through because it's something you're putting stuff on the tree or doing some stuff around the kitchen. Just play the whole thing through, and by the time it gets to Christmas Lullaby, it's just the perfect setting for that song in that playlist, in that listing of songs.
I think for me, one of my favorite ones to play live. It's not so much the actual playing it, even though it's a good song, but it's looking at the crowd after. It's whenever we do Christmas Time Again, and everybody at the end is.
That is the only song that I can recall where we've played, and I've watched people just start sobbing. Just pulling out tissues. Like when we played Interstate Batteries, we went to the Interstate Batteries headquarters and did a show for the staff. Literally tissues were flying everywhere. People were just sobbing. It was so good.
Saint Nick is all right. Somebody mentioned that.
Yeah, that's
Saint Nick is all right.
I super like that song.
I love our arrangement of O Little Town of Bethlehem, and it features Rebecca Lovell. Actually, she's married now, so her last name's probably different. She's married to Tyler Bryant of Tyler Bryant and the Shakedown, which is a very popular band, and their band Larkin Poe has sort of exploded, and so it's cool that she sang on. She was only 16, I believe, when she sang on that, and we were all like, "Wow, this girl's going places." So
she was awesome.
Sure. Though I will say there was one thing on the second Christmas album that was a highlight for me. I worked really, really hard on the solo for Merrily on High. And I didn't, I recorded that one at home and I sent it in, and, then when we all got together to play, I think we were helping Michael move something into his house. And Michael walked in and said, "Which one of you made that solo for Merrily on High?" And I did. That was me. And he gave me a high five. It's the only solo anyone's given me a high five over.
It's good.
It's great.
All right. Any questions from those watching? Let's see.
Apparently, Noah still thinks that we're called Dead Poets Society after all these. Noah mentioned I love In the Bleak Midwinter, and I just listened to that song. That's the first Christmas song we recorded together when after our several-year hiatus, when we came back together and started touring again. That was the first song. That was the experiment. Like, can we still be a band?
It was.
And I love the way it came out.
Yeah, it is good. I was listening to that last night, and there's a lot of versions of that song. And most people either go very mellow with it. That's usually what you hear. It's like very mellow or slow. But I feel like ours is a pretty different take on it and has a lot of energy, especially at the end.
Yes.
Yeah, and another great poem that started its life as a poem by Christina Rossetti, and then was put to music, and it's good.
The answer to the question about whether or not you can watch this later by Mike Brandstetter, the answer is yes.
Yes, it'll be archived on Facebook and YouTube. Laura's watching as well. Hello, Laura.
Hi, Laura.
Part of the Van Arendonk clan that is always taking good care of us anytime we're near Indianapolis. But Patapan's an interesting one because it's in 5/4, and most rock bands don't play in 5/4. So it was a fun one to record.
Yeah, well, just the chorus, just the chorus and some of the turnarounds. Other parts are in 4/4. But once you get to the chorus, you're in 5/4. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's time signature changes. We normally don't do that.
We normally don't do it.
We're not a prog rock band.
We're not. A rock band. We don't play in
we got
7,
skills.
8 like Dream Theater.
Well, we can if we want to. And some people are asking if we're going to tour next year.
Hopefully, yes. Because you already stated it, Danny. You said, I don't care what happens next year. We are playing shows together.
Yeah, and I'm already preparing, reading bass guitar for dummies because it's been so long.
I saw that. Yeah. Way to go, Dale.
I'm preparing.
You're such an inspiration to the rest of us. With your
Noah's weighing in.
He also made a comment about us being called the Dead Poets Society.
Yeah.
Call us what you want, just mix the record.
Yeah.
Oh,
Shouldn't you be mixing right now? Yes, we haven't talked about. We've got a new album that's almost done.
It's recorded.
It is recorded.
And that was
I challenge any of you guys to name 3 songs that are on it, though.
I can't.
I absolutely can, but they're probably not the real titles.
Real titles. Yeah.
I'm having trouble with this right now. I'm trying to block Noah, and he's not quite working.
Yeah, so we have a new album. It's got 10 songs on it. I'm super excited about it. I've got like board mixes, which is like just when you bring the faders up on the board and you burn something down. It's not mixed at all, and so it's all sounds all over the place. But love it. But I couldn't name the actual song titles because I don't know if we've settled on all of them. I know one's called
Puncture Wound. That's what you're.
Yeah, one's called Puncture Wound because right as I was playing the idea for Danny, I was changing the guitar strings and stabbed my finger and it was bleeding all over the place. And so we called that song Puncture Wound. But there's Monaco. That's
Monaco.
one. Yeah. That might be the actual title.
Yep.
100 Ways.
100 Ways. Yeah, that's an actual title. I don't know what we're going to call Manana. We have one called Manana as the
stuff we love. The stuff you love. The stuff you love.
Oh, okay.
The stuff we love. Yeah.
And then the one that's that might turn out to be my favorite on the album was titled Depeche Mode. But I don't know what the final title is on that. That one I listened to. I spent a lot of time out on my paddleboard listening to these in the summer. And that one I would listen to over and over again. I just thought, wow. That is a great song, and I can't believe, because the idea was a totally different. I wouldn't say totally different, but just a lot of those ideas we wrote here in my basement when we were here in the Northwest. Some of them, that was one of them, and it took a long journey. And what came out was just, I think, wow, felt like a new era for small town poets, in my opinion. But I still haven't recorded the guitars for it yet. That's another one I've got. That's the last thing I've got to do.
Wait, you haven't finished guitar for which song?
Depeche Mode.
Come on, Kev.
I'm supposed to call Noah later today.
This call is over. We got to go so you can go to work.
Dude,
I've got like 20 tracks and I hate all of them. So we gotta figure something out. You know what? The blocker for me on that one is I listened to it so many times without guitars. I kind of felt like it didn't need any. And so that's where, but you got to put something.
That might be Satan talking to you. Everything needs guitars.
You'll find something tasty.
We'll find. Actually, I think there's a lot of great stuff at the end. It's the beginning and middle I got to figure out. So I'll get on it.
And hey, on the Christmas topic, I guess before we wrap this up, I was hoping more of you guys would wear ugly sweaters, but it seems like it's just me and Kevin.
I'm not really. Mine is very, very festive.
It
is. So at least between me and Kevin,
Christmas is all about the baby, right? The little child.
That's right.
There you go.
Oh, there's Danny's decor.
I brought eggnog. I just can't wear it.
Lovely.
Yeah.
I wanted to wear something that would match the background of this frame, and so I'm the only one that cared to coordinate. You see that purple? I can lean over there. Purple.
I have a festive mug.
Yeah. Well, I've got got some hot chocolate going right in the little Santa mug. Speaking of, we could go another couple hours talking about the Mandalorian, but these guys, I don't think any of them have seen. Miguel was waiting to watch season 2. He has a good excuse.
Yeah, I'm about to start season 2.
Oh, mind blowing! I stayed up till midnight to watch it with my daughters, and we were all screaming. It was that good. I can't say anything. I can't say anything. Stay off the internet.
We've already said too much.
We've already said too much. You're gonna hate it. It's terrible.
I was waiting to watch season 2 with my son, who was flying in from Florida this Christmas. He was supposed to fly in today, and unfortunately, yesterday he tested positive for COVID, so he cannot come. He's doing okay. I talked to him. So, keep my son Cameron in your prayers as he recovers from COVID. But now, both of us in our own locations are going to start watching Mandalorian season 2 since, the original plan fell through.
They've got to watch a party function so you can watch it together at the exact same time.
Yes.
And there's no replacement for Cameron. However, we're going to scroll your address along the bottom of the screen, and everyone can spend Christmas with Miguel. Shoot, I may show up down there.
Yeah. Carrie Dodson just showed up. So this party can't die now. It's just getting revved up.
Hi, Carrie.
We got the Van Arendonks. We got Carrie. Carrie worked for our management company with Mark Hollingsworth.
We got Shane Ellis.
Shane's here. We pretty much got the whole show here.
Hey, Kev.
It's official.
Kev,
Yes.
I see a comment. This is a funny story that I don't even know if everybody in the band knows this. But Noah just commented, he says, sometimes you write a line and you think you might have heard it later.
Oh.
And so that's an inside joke that I won't even take time to explain. But do you band guys even know that when we were finishing up all the lyrics for the record, and it was just me, Michael, and Noah in Broxton, Georgia, writing and recording those last few vocals, that we kept cracking that inside joke and finally just decided, heck with it. We're going to work this into a song. We're going to make it make sense. So that line is in. What song is it in? You think
Real
you
Time.
heard it later?
Real Time.
Oh, Real Time.
Real Time. Yes.
Yes. That's another one I'm really excited about.
It wasn't just working it into it. It's like that's the line that makes sense in that song in that place. So we
did it.
If you like music, you'll love the new Smalltown Poets album.
That's it.
Hey, wasn't there a moment too where you're looking for a line? Noah walks in the other room for about 30 seconds and walks back in and says the line, and that's what it is. Do you remember that? I don't remember what song it's on this record, but he walks in.
I think it's Depeche Mode, which is that gets true. I can't remember what we decided to go with.
Yeah.
Without you couldn't see. Probably you could call it "I Couldn't See It," something like that. I don't know.
Such a good song. Such a good
Can't
song.
wait. Can't wait.
Yeah, going back to, since we're talking about the new record, going back to Byron talking about enjoying listening to the record. I think it's funny because as artists, people tend to look at you funny if you listen to your own music, but you're like, we like making this music. We enjoy hearing these sounds. That's why we make them. But beyond that, in the creation process, especially for Byron, who usually we get drums first, and then we start putting everything else on top of it. A lot of times it's a total surprise to him what ends up happening, or to all of us at times, we do our parts and then we come back later and there's more added, especially when the vocals get added. And it can really, you already like the song, you think it's cool, but then when you hear it all together, it just becomes a totally different experience for the artist when you hear it. And so, so it's okay for us to listen to it and like it.
It's
if we
like
don't like it, who else is going to like it?
It's like opening a gift. And Noah, since you're still on and listening, there's a gift-giving occasion in the middle of this next week. that I don't know if I got an email that I could hear something that would be awesome. I would probably toss all the wrapped presents aside.
So for
No
Christmas,
pressure.
you don't mixes.
Yeah.
Just
Santa,
one, just
is Santa
two.
gonna deliver a mix for
Pocket stuffer or
Christmas?
something.
But you have to understand that also next week is Noah's birthday. So for his birthday, he might want an extension where he gets an extra 2 months to mix the record.
No. For those of you watching, we're hoping to have the new record out. Within the first few months of, it won't be January. First few months of 2021. But yeah, stay tuned for that. I'm excited about it.
Which is not to be confused with the new record that we actually do have, which is a live recording.
That's true.
Yep.
We have, you know what? I've got a little banner here for let's see. Let's see. Oh yeah. So if you haven't checked out, we have a rarities like digital box set of all sorts of goodies and behind the scenes tracks and some live. Miguel does a poetry reading. I mean, it's worth it for that. We have that digital box set. It's a huge thing full of lots of fan favorites. It's got the 70s medley that we did, the infamous 70s medley that got us thrown off the stage once. We've got a live recording of that. That's always a good one. But then we have our live album, and the live album is available wherever you listen to music. But you can also, if you like downloads, which we've heard a lot of people that like our music want the download copy. There's high-res downloads at that link. So yeah.
Oh, look at that banner! It's a lovely banner.
It is a lovely banner.
I thought Michael was referring to the live album.
Oh, was he put a link up to both the rarities
I
and the
didn't see
live.
the other link. Okay, yeah,
Yep.
yeah, lots of content. Lots of content coming.
Pay attention, Stevens.
Try
Y'all guys, I'm getting tired.
computers, he's
I'm not used to having to pay attention this long to anything.
It's moving fast.
I'm already busy writing the next album. That's what I'm doing over here.
well, we have been talking about a new album, but what excited me more than the new album is that I've already been receiving new song ideas. Miguel sent a couple over the other day.
Yeah, that's a good.
And yeah, so there may be another album in 2021. You never know.
I think that's the thing with us. Even here we are talking about a new album we're about to put out, and we're already talking about new ideas. And I think we're all like that. We always have something, going on in our head. We're always looking forward to doing new stuff, and we love sharing those ideas with each other and seeing them turn into pretty cool songs.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Joel gave his official endorsement of the live album.
Awesome.
Thanks, Joel.
Joel's great. He might have reached #1 fan status. I think he did. Facebook says he's a top fan when you look at our Facebook page.
Well deserved.
Yes, he's very much appreciated his enthusiasm and desire to see our music go more places. Any final thoughts? Should we wrap things up? It's been
Don't we have
over.
some music coming up from Michael?
Well, that's one thing I should mention. The way getting this live stream together, we were worried that the trying to play anything live wouldn't work. Not all of us together, because that wouldn't work. But Michael mentioned that he performed at a Christmas concert last Friday, and I had him video a couple of them, and not right there in front of his fireplace. It's a lovely scene, very Christmassy, and we're going to drop those on Facebook and YouTube right after this. So check your feed after this, and you'll see Michael playing a couple Christmas songs, and they're lovely. Speaking of lovely Christmas scenes, here's a fun fact. The Christmas tree image on our latest single, I Heard the Bells on Christmas Day, is actually the Christmas tree at Michael's mom's house, the house where Michael grew up. And it's
right.
It's a tree there.
My stocking in the background.
Yeah. When we were on our Christmas tour last year, we played a show in Tifton. And I stayed the night at the Johnston house and snapped that picture because it looked very Christmassy. Just felt like something we should use someday. And
Classic
it
Christmas,
made it into the Christmas single cover. So fun
And
fact.
that's a beautiful and significant thing, because when we were growing up in Tifton, and me, Michael, and Byron were teenagers there, Michael and his family were atheists. So they never had a Christmas tree. They had pagan statues.
Hey, I love how Kerry Dobson wrote about that. Us doing the 70s medley. He said,
Yeah.
I remember you getting the hook for heathen music.
That's a true story.
Yep, we did.
We did.
Well, guys, you guys are all awesome.
We have a Christmas cactus.
Oh,
this
nice.
year. It lights up. Apparently, it's not
Really
I don't
close
think
to
it'll
your
read.
face.
Yeah.
Does it dance? Does it dance when you play music?
No, it doesn't dance. It doesn't dance. So, yeah.
I want to hear Michael sing.
Miles is Michael's brother is disputing Danny's account of their childhood.
That's just the way I
We'll have to take this offline and sort this whole thing out.
Fake news. He's calling you out.
That's the way I remember it.
That's the way I remember.
Good times. Good times.
Did we say that our first gig together as a band before Kevin and Miguel were around, it was at a Christmas party, right, Michael?
It was the National Guard Armory. It sure was. And then we debuted This Day in Bethlehem back when it was an acapella number, and it's better as an acapella number. But we did a band arrangement of that. But yeah, that's how far back that song goes. But yes, we did. We played for the Guardsmen.
Mm-hmm. We did.
Laura has a question about our Smalltown Poets store, which I put a link in the comments for. Does the complete digital catalog on the website include all the new stuff like the live album or just the older studio albums? It includes all the way up to the live album. I need to go back and throw the other stuff in. But if you buy it, Laura, just email us and I'll slide you the other stuff.
Shh, don't tell him.
Don't tell
Scandal.
But Danny, I think the confusion about the beliefs of my family, I think your mom and dad probably were just telling you that so you wouldn't come over because I was a bad influence. That's probably
that's
where it came from.
Exactly.
Michael did have a rep in Tifton for being a bad influence.
We were a bunch of little goody two shoes, actually. True.
All right. Michael looks like he should read "'Twas the Night Before Christmas" in that fireplace setting. Do we have anything to close the
I will. Well, Danny does.
Danny's got something?
No, I don't.
He does.
Michael,
Just no explanation. Just read it.
I've got to give an explanation if I read it.
That's up to you.
Okay.
I think it's time.
I didn't want to do this.
Noah wants you to do it. Noah,
Michael,
you want him to do it, don't you?
I think I got the Christmas cactus. Here it is. It's lit now. See?
Oh, yeah.
I don't have a long enough cable to get it
All
in.
right. So this is a great way to close out this Christmas party.
Okay.
You know, it wouldn't be an office Christmas party if something awkward didn't happen, right?
This is awkward. I will read it, but first I have to explain.
What are you reading? I was messing with the cactus.
It's an original poem that he wrote.
Now listen, I will read it, but I have to explain. Okay? The whole point of this is it's supposed to be bad because me and Noah, every year we talk about how we hear a new radio ad or a new commercial on TV that is a parody of the night before the Christmas. And they're always terrible. The meter is off, lines go too long or they're too short. There's forced rhymes. It's not funny. But I can just see marketing meetings where people every year go into their boss and go, I've got it. I have got it. We're going to take the night before Christmas and we're going to change the words. And their boss is like, that is freaking brilliant. And they're so bad. So I wrote one to be as bad as I could be. And my fear, Michael knows, my fear is that I read it and everybody goes, That's so good.
That's good.
Good.
But
And it's
okay,
not
so
supposed to be
the charm of this is that Danny wrote this for his family as an inside joke because they talk about this a lot.
And it's
So
supposed
it's never meant to be in print. If it were in print somewhere, or if
Right.
it were posted on Facebook, I think
Right.
that your fears might become realized. But since it's not in print, I think it's a safe place. Safe place.
is-
So
Let's
this is
hear
where the edit. This is where the edit happens for the version that you're going to watch later.
No. So it's written to be bad, like the ones that I don't like to hear.
Let's
So
hear
with
it.
that,
There's a lot of setup for this.
Yeah.
all right.
Well-
so here we go. Let's read it.
Yeah, if
We're doing
you're a fan of the dry wit and if you're a fan of the sarcasm, then this is for you.
Right. Okay. So here we go.
Wait, hold on.
I can't believe this. Please don't message me about how good this is. Please.
Please don't.
Okay. Here we go.
Here it goes.
Oh, 'twas the night before Christmas and all through the mall. Last minute shoppers were bustling about like crazy, y'all. The sale signs were hung on the store windows with care at places like Sears, Dillard's, Radio Shack, Claire's Boutique, TGI Fridays, and Build-A-Bear. Oh my gosh. When out in the parking lot there arose such a clatter, I sprang from the massage chair in sharper image to see what was the matter. Away to the escalator, I flew like a flash, and into the exit doors, I almost did crash. Forced rhyme there. When what to my wondering eyes did appear, but Santa on his smoke break, chugging a beer. I do like that line.
That is a good line. That's the highlight so far.
He was chubby and plump and a little bit weird, and I laughed when I saw him and thought to myself, what on earth has happened to his beard? Right? Okay. And then in a twinkling, I saw Santa's elves drag racing shopping carts and injuring others and themselves. He sprang to his feet, to his team gave a yell, and away they all flew like a bat out of Hades.
Safe.
But I heard him exclaim ere he went back to his shift, Merry Christmas to all, I'm getting too old for this. And that's it.
Yes, thank you.
Yes,
That's
it's
awesome.
terrible. It's
We're
terrible.
all in the mood.
Terrible. There you have it.
Oh, I
There you
hope
have
that's the start of a new tradition.
That.
Danny, I'll say it. It was actually awesome.
Stop it.
But for the right reasons.
But for the right reasons? Okay. Good. Well,
All
Merry
right.
Christmas.
Well, we very much appreciate all of you who've hung here with us and taken time out of your day to gather with us. And we miss you so much, and so many good friends that have meant so much to us over the years and have kept us going. And some of you, we wouldn't be here still making music without you. And we just are very appreciative of you, and just thank you for being here. And yeah, that's all.
Merry
Merry
Christmas,
Christmas.
everybody.
Merry Christmas. And with that, I'm gonna count it down, and we're gonna cut 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Merry
Merry
Christmas.
Christmas.
See ya.